Hey everyone, it's Heather Darnall. Welcome back to my art channel. Thank you for being here. Well, lately I've been wanting to come back and revisit the paint pouring arena. And usually when I do, it's a toss up between doing a Dutch pour, ring pour, or a swipe. So today I wanted to do a Dutch pour, but I also wanted to step out of my comfort zone and use some shades of one specific color that I typically wouldn't reach for, which is the color green. Not that I don't like it, I love it. I'm just not comfortable using it in my paintings because it's not something that I feel like I would know how to use or whatever. But I love the color because it represents being calm, it represents nature, being clean and fresh. And so you really can't go wrong with the color green, but how you use it kind of determines how you use it. And so in today's painting, I thought, well, we'll see what we get out of it. I mean, you know, after all, this is all about having fun. And so I hope you have some fun too. But before we get on to our ministry snack, I want to share with you guys my new book release, which is right here. It's called Reps for Jesus, Spiritual and Muscular Gains. And you're probably asking yourself, well, why in the world is that not an art book? Well, I have this channel, and so I hope that's sufficient for you because of this level or department. I like to give you guys a visual for that. But for this book specifically, is very different, obviously. I have a former career and life being in bodybuilding, personal training, and fitness nutrition. And I love the experience and all the knowledge I've obtained in that time. But I also know what kind of person I was during that time, which was a very empty person. I was so hard up on being what I look like on the outside, which is swole. But believe it or not, you guys, I was the skinny little puny person on the inside. I was basically empty. I was spiritually bankrupt. And so I just was never full. I was never complete. I was just still searching for anything to make me feel like I had a purpose, you know. And we tend to forget that God made us in his image. And if we're not full on both aspects of being, you know, having faith and being fit, we're just not going to be complete because that's not how he made us to be only one or the other. He made us to be both. And this book literally ties back everything from biblical days to present time with scripture into facts from how everything as far as our food is grown, processed, and treated, and how it's even labeled to keep us deceived, so to speak, so that we aren't going to accomplish our goals the way we think we are. I mean, after all, isn't it true that most of us, when we go through some kind of change in life, as far as like, you know, an outward appearance, we are holding ourselves up to these insane expectations. You know, I have to lose so many pounds in so much time, do this diet, not that diet, this exercise, not that exercise, and we get caught up in the whole thing without even realizing how our individual, unique body that God made is working. And if we don't understand how that's working through the science factor of it, you're not going to achieve, you know, that fitness aspect. So I really wanted to share those with you. Also my past life. Because like I said, you can be all smarty pants in one area, but if you're not spiritually full, you're just going to be completely empty. And I was empty. You guys, I'm not ashamed to say this anymore because this book is also a testimony of how I went from dark to light. And it wasn't by my doing, it was by our good Lord, that I used to be a stripper, a liar, a cheater, body dysmorphia, depression, anxiety. I've been in abusive relationships. I've really just been living a dark life, and I was searching for anything. And that's why health and fitness I thought would be that fill, you know, and it just wasn't. Although, like I said, I'm glad because I have my health. I just went about using that specific category for a wrong reason. So how to get fit and how to gain faith need to be in repetitions. We need to do that over and over and over again so that we get better and better and better at it. And connected more in our faith and ourselves too, so that we recognize where everything in ourselves comes from. So be sure to pick up a copy of that book. The link in the description will be where you can get it. But now on to our ministry snack, which comes from the book of Esther, chapter 4, verses 13 through 17. And it reads, Then Mordecai told him to reply to Esther, Do not think to yourself that in the king's palace you will escape any more than all the other Jews. For if you keep silent at this time, relief and deliverance will rise for the Jews from another place, but you and your father's house will perish. And who knows whether you have not come to the kingdom for such a time as this? Then Esther told them to reply to Mordecai, Go gather the Jews to be found in Susa and hold a fast on my behalf, and do not eat or drink for 3 days, day or night. And I and my young women will also fast as you do. Then I will go to the king, though it is against the law, and if I perish, I perish. Mordecai went away and did everything as Esther had ordered him. Okay, so the book of Esther is by far one of my favorites. It's a book in the Bible that doesn't even say the word God in there, or Jesus, or a Savior, or anything, or the Messiah, nothing. But it heavily speaks about how God's hand was in everything. So Esther, she was a queen, and the king at the time, King Arteza, he had a bunch of wives and everything, and if you go to him, no matter if you're his wife, but if you go to him uncalled, your head could be on a platter. And I'm not saying that specifically, but literally you could be put to death. And so at the time, there was a decree out there to destroy, abolish all Jewish people. But the king didn't even know his new wife was Jewish herself. And Mordecai, which is a relative of Esther's that brought her up, found out that a person working in the palace, so one of the king's courtmen, Haman, had wrote this decree to literally annihilate all the Jewish people. And so, of course, all the Jewish heard about this decree and were freaking out. And so Mordecai is coming to Esther through servants messaging each other and saying, hey, maybe you have become queen for such a time as this so that you can come up, you will rise up and play your role, do your part, save us all. And of course, Esther's like, I don't know. I mean, I don't want to get my head cut off. I don't want to die. But Mordecai replies, rather if you do it or not, we're going to die. And you're going to die too. So why don't you just maybe put a little bit of effort in there. Be obedient and do this for us because you clearly have a title. And why don't you put some good use to it? So, of course, she said, good point. If I'm going to die, I don't know if I'm going to die by the, going in without being called, or I'm going to die because my whole race is going to be put to death. So weigh it out. And so she did that. And you guys, and I'm going with this particular bit in the Bible because we all lack obedience. I don't like being obedient plenty of times. And then it's kind of hypocritical of me. I'm telling my son to be obedient. Anyways, so we must always live by example. But in this case, these people were obedient. They fasted. They were in prayer. Rather, they didn't want to do it. They were just so heavy in distress, but they knew the essential outcome and the necessity of it. And so it's important for us to pray, especially when a friend comes to us and they have distress. They're having a meltdown and they come to you specifically, as did Mordecai to Esther, to Queen Esther, and said, hey, pray, go to the king, do something. When you think about obedience, to do something, even though we don't want to do it, but take a step back and realize the purpose for doing that. Suddenly, you may just want to do it. And people that come to you in need of prayer are coming to you specifically, hoping you will be obedient out of friendship, out of being a family member, because they're depending on you. God put it in their heart, which is hard enough to gather up the courage to go to you and talk about what's on their heart and ask for prayer without being ridiculed or made fun of or anything. They're coming to you because something's very heavy and they need some sort of answer. And your answer, who knows, could come from you. Your prayer could be the one that unlocks the whole key to their success, their change of life or way of life. You just never know. And so think about that other person that's coming to you with that deep need of obedience. How true of a friend are you? Are you really showing that family really matters? Even in a time that you don't feel like you're qualified to do. Like, it's really hard to think, when I'm asked to pray, like, oh, I don't know how to pray. I'm not really good with my words. You don't have to be. Do not think for a second God is looking for some fancy prayer read from a scroll or a script or something. He just wants to hear what's on your heart. And if you are feeling the pain of the person coming to you, asking for prayer, it'll be easy. It'll come naturally. And that's all that matters. Be the key that unlocks this person's answer. God has given you the key through prayer to be this person's blessing. So again, reconsider the word obedience, its significance, and how you alone have the ability to change things through Jesus Christ. All right, guys, let's get to it. All right, everyone, so let's get started. I have a 10 by 20 canvas here, and believe it or not, this might look like a brand new canvas, and I hope it does, because I triple primed this with gesso, because underneath this gesso, was a hot mess of a painting. So let that serve as a reminder to you that if you have a canvas or a painting that just looks hideous, don't throw it out. Just put some gesso on over it and reuse it. Save that hard-earned money. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is just do a simple white base, and then I think I'm gonna do a puddle pour in the middle and then just go from there. I kind of wanna make it look a little like a flower, so like a floral type painting. So it may look like that, it may not, I don't know, but here we go. So I'm going to pour my white base down, and my colors are a mix of Liquitex Basics, Pēbēo, and Arteza. So I will list all the colors and all that kind of stuff in the description, although I'm not very good at being precise at my paint mixture, which is just a little hair in here, which is just Floetrol and water. I know some people like to just use water to keep it simple, and it's good, but honestly, I kind of like that Floetrol to help me with the self-leveling factor. I really like that. So, and this is kind of new here. This like little, it's like a I was gonna say windshield wiper. I don't know why I thought of that, but anyways, it's kind of like for tiling, I think. And so get a Home Depot. So I thought I would use that. But anyway, so yeah, those are the only ingredients in there. And the only bummer with the Floetrol, if you didn't know this already, but I think most of you guys do know that the one thing about that, it just kind of tends to dull the colors out a little bit, you know, which is why it's pretty essential to put a gloss medium within your mixture. And you're probably saying to yourself, well, why don't you have one? It's just more additives. I only have a little bit of it, and it's just easier to put a gloss varnish on top when you're done. Okay, this isn't like going as, I don't have the finesse that I need, I guess, with this. I'm just used to using a blow dryer or my other palette knife. Okay, we're done with that. So let me just go ahead and use the blow dryer. Then I might have to add some more paint. Yeah, I need to add more paint, that's okay. It's a little thin there, and there, and there. All right, so I think I should be good now. All right, now it's a little heavy here. Oh well, whatever. Okay, just going to even out the sides here, or just cover them. All right. Perfect. Okay. So the colors I'm going to use are well, I'm gonna start with a refreshing yellow, and this is an iridescent color. But to me, it has kind of like a green tint to it. So that was kind of pretty. So we'll see how it goes. I have no idea how these combinations of greens are gonna look. But the important thing is just to experiment, have fun. Then this one is a pearl olive green. So it's kind of like a metallic. And it's good to keep any iridescent metallic colors separated from a non-metallic or non-iridescent paint, and kind of keep an opaque color between them. Now the second one that I did that I didn't mention is a brilliant yellow green, and that's semi-transparent, so we'll see. But anyways, okay, so next is a light olive green. And then I've got a Prussian blue for some contrast. I'm just gonna do a little bit. And then I thought I would add, for like little fine details, some gold. Now I think I'm gonna do this circle again, like do a double puddle or like another layer, you know? So there's that refreshing yellow, brilliant yellow green, then the pearl olive green. I'm just gonna do a little bit of that. Might have put too much on the first layer. Then the white olive green. And Prussian blue. There we go. And some gold. Okay. All right, let me get my torch here. Okay. Throw a little white paint around here and see how that goes. All right, so now, actually, wow, this looks really thin right here. Glad I saw that. All right, I think that'll do. I can fix the rest later. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is just blow the paint over and then blow it out. See how it goes from there. So I'm kind of hoping for a lot of negative space. That's why I kind of chose more of a rectangular canvas rather than a square one, so that I can hopefully have a pretty good amount of negative space on both sides. That way you can hang it, you know, vertical or horizontal and it'll still look really pretty. Hopefully it'll be worthy of hanging anyway. So, okay, let's go. Ooh, look at that cell action already going on. Let's see here. Love the color combination. Wow. Whoa. Definitely interesting. Okay. It really is kind of cool. Now, it's kind of heavy right here. And I do have that negative space here on the side, which is good. I'm getting what I'm envisioning so far, but I think this needs a little bit of detail, but I don't want to mess with it too much because I'm absolutely loving the cell reaction here, especially with the Prussian blue being the contrast and it coming through, and then the gold here. So, let me see. I'm just thinking right now if I want to use the blow dryer to continue to blow or my own breath. So I'm going to go with 3, 2, 1, my own breath. Okay. Pretty. Okay, I like that. I'm gonna leave that side alone. Now I'm gonna try to work with this piece here and go, well, there, that's nice, really soft. Love the transition from really being like kind of heavy here and then just softening out. Although I might fix there. All right, you know, I think I might add a little teensy bit more white right there, just to kind of make it I have a feeling it's not gonna flow very far. I'm gonna thin out that too much. Okay. Oh my goodness. That went really fast. All right, let's torch it. See what it looks like. I don't really torch that long, but I was seeing some more bubbles come up and some other fine imperfections, like little dust particles here. So, okay. I think I'm gonna clean, oops, this up here. There, keep it soft. There. And here. There. And I think I'm gonna clean a little bit up there. All right. Well, that's all she wrote, so I'm gonna bring you guys down for a close-up. All right. Look at that, oh my gosh. Really so pretty. I am a little worried because these cells are just, oh, they're getting a little bit bigger by the moment. That's what it feels like. And so I'm interested to see, or it'll be interesting to see the final result. But this is really cool. The gold, although it kind of looks, at least in this light, it looks more like a copper or something, but anyway, really pretty. So let's stand by for the dried result. Oh my gosh, you guys, here it is. I absolutely love it. This is not something I would think that I would actually like, especially because I use mostly greens. Not something I really tend to reach for in my paintings, really, unless it's just kind of like, I don't know, either contrast or for something specific, like when I do my traditional brushstroke artwork, like for trees or grass or something. But anyways, not for a primary color. And I'm not saying that green is a primary color. I'm just saying for the main color in my paintings, I typically just don't reach for greens. But I'm so glad I did in this case because, like I said, it really is just beautiful. The combinations of all the green and the Prussian blue for the contrast and the gold, oh, it just comes together so well. And I couldn't help but to think to call this piece a burst of spring, because when I look at it with this big old burst of green, I think of spring. I mean, you think about it. When the springtime comes around, everything's coming out from being dormant and it's all green, like the trees and the grass and the hills and all that kind of stuff. And it's beautiful, it's breathtaking. I mean, God really is like, hello, look at all this beauty. Once again, I deliver for you. And it's just so, what a wonderful reminder of just how he never fails to make something beautiful and restore things. So, you know, and it could be from an outward appearance in our, what we see in a scenic, you know, setting, or just within our own souls. You know, we come out, we all have times when we're just kind of dormant and dull and stuff, but you know, revival, and this is like the same thing. Just, it's awesome. I love it. So, but I would say the only thing I don't really like about this painting is that this right here, this little section of cells look a little bit too overstretched. I was noticing that the cells just were continuously expanding and it was a little frustrating, but they're not awful. Just a little bit too big for me, but these I like right here. And that's really about as big as I would like to see any of the cells in a painting. But thankfully this was just a small section, so it didn't necessarily swallow up the whole thing. I still think it's a really nice balance and just an overall really pretty painting. And I love that the sides still have that negative space because I just kind of wanted to keep it clean. I really wanted more of a, just as much bright colors in it, including the white. So yeah, I'm really, really happy with it. And I was so happy that I'm so happy that it didn't take more than one try, that I was able to use the leftover paint and make some mini versions. I'll just put these up here so you guys can see, because oh my gosh, so cool. I love the colors. I'm just like, I'm beside myself because I don't like greens very much, or like I said, I don't tend to reach for them, but man, now I think I have a whole new like thing for green. But look at this composition. Look at these colors. Look here, you guys. Aren't these cute? I absolutely love it. And the refreshing yellow, if you can maybe see, I will try briefly to see if you can check, if you can see that it has like the iridescent, the other color that it reflects. It's like all yellowy here, which is supposed to be the refreshing yellow. And then more I tilt it, you can kind of see, well, it's really hard, but kind of like in this section here, you're gonna see, ah, it almost fell down. You can see that it's very yellow. And then when I tilt it, it starts to brighten up and it's all down here. So unfortunately, this isn't a very good angle, but I do have a paint sample. So let me just, so you can kind of, you guys can probably hear my son playing, but you see that blue, that pastel blue type look or coloring it has to it? Super pretty. It's just hard to capture in an angle, especially with reflection from gloss, a gloss varnish and stuff, but that's what I'm talking about. And that's what you can, as what is captured, or what you can see in this paintings, or in these paintings. So, all right, guys, that is the end of this video. If you liked it, please share it with those who you know will enjoy it. And hit the subscribe button while you're at it. But more importantly, remember to thank God for this opportunity and always paint from the soul. See you next time. Bye.